Welcome to the IBW. I'm your host, Donna, and the IBW is a place where the inimitable Black woman, but I know that's a hard word, so the inimitable Black woman, one of a kind, unable to duplicate. Here we tell the stories of Black women from their point of view, and in doing that, we want to create a space where Black women feel seen, heard, and valued. And today we have the special guest of Michelle Blue. Welcome, Michelle. Okay.
Hello.
I'm going to read Michelle's bio real quick. Michelle Blue is an entrepreneur, coach, and talk show host. Blue is committed to helping others create the life and business of their dreams through her talk show, The Journey with Blue, and also in her signature coaching program, Take the Leap with Blue. Blue guides entrepreneurial dreamers to gain clarity in their vision and strategy while also building their confidence in order to get them to the place where they can execute their dreams at the highest level. Welcome, Michelle Blue.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. Okay. Your bio. Like I was reading through and going through all your stuff and I was like, okay. Okay, Michelle, I see you.
I appreciate it. I think when you're living it, you don't even realize what's happening. It's like you're just like in the day-to-day, the creation of it. And sometimes you have to like remove yourself and step outside of yourself and be like, okay, give yourself some credit, because we're so much on like on to the next that you don't even realize like what you've created, what you've done and accomplished in the past.
That's good. So I have an order of questions, but I'm gonna ask a little bit out of order because
Okay.
I want to know what is the thing that you're most proudest of that you've done? And if that's bad grammar, just ignore that.
The proudest thing that I've done. Um,
Or like, what are you
y-
most proud of? Yeah.
yeah, and I guess it's no like specific thing. I think, most people know me for business, but I think just truly the biggest thing that we all are managing is our life, right? Like I'm really proud overall of just like the decisions I'm making, the person that I'm choosing to be, the heart, the light, the love that I'm like choosing in each and every day, like becoming, so it's like that's what I'm really proud about. That's what I'm like really excited about. It's like who am I able to be? What am I able to give to the people around me? And that's really my focus and my energy these days. That's like what I want to be known for at the end of the day, when this is all said and done. So I guess that's like my proudest moment.
That's beautiful. So how do you racially identify?
I am a Black woman. Well, I guess that's race and gender, but I'm a Black woman.
Yeah, no, it's fine because everyone racially identifies a little bit different. So it's always like, how do you personally do? So
Mhm.
I'm black on black on black.
Correct.
Yes. Was there a story or a moment where you realized you were black or you realized that you were other or people were different?
Mm. I grew up in Atlanta, which is such a blessing. So I grew up in, I'm going to say all Black community, so growing up, everyone we went to, all of our professionals, the dentist, the doctor, the CPA, at the grocery store, everyone I was surrounded by was Black. And so I never had many encounters with like identity and other just kind of questioning my identity at an early age. But I was actually just sharing this with a friend. I had the opportunity to go on a study abroad trip when I was in middle school, and I was traveling to Europe. We went to Italy, Austria, Germany, Switzerland, and France for 3 weeks, right? So I was taking this trip by myself, and we had a homestay in Austria. And as soon as my girl who I was staying with, she got in the car, she was like, so like, she's like looking puzzled. She was like, so you're Black? And at like in that moment, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I guess no one has ever like questioned my race, my identity. And so I was like taken aback because again, she may be used to seeing Black people show up in different, shades and complexions and forms. So she kind of had like this questioning around me, like, you don't look like this, but you don't look like me type of situation. So like, where do you fit? And so that was one of the first kind of like moments where I was like faced with that question of like, well, who are you? What are you? And so that was a really interesting time for me in middle school, just like having that moment.
What did you say to her?
I was like, yes, I'm Black. I think I was more in shock, right? Because I'm like, now I'm like kind of on edge because I'm staying with this girl alone in Austria for the next 4 days, 5 days with her and her family. And like I said, I was also, like I said, on edge because no one had ever approached me that way. No one had ever had those questions. And again, this is me at 12, 13 years old, and I never really had a race encounter or a conversation around race in that way. Again, Atlanta is all Black everything. So that was a new experience for me. And so that may have been one of the first times where I vocalized like, yes, I am Black.
That's wild. That's funny though, but also wild.
I
Um,
know.
so I was looking at your bio and reading. So you're would you say you're spontaneous, adventurous?
Oh, yes, always. I'm always down for, the adventure. I'm always down for the crazy moments of life.
Okay, so what is the most spontaneous thing you have ever done?
Oh, okay. I was also just thinking about that this morning. So you were right on, Donna. So I went to, and I do a lot of different things, whether it's like skydiving, like I said, I'm always, and even growing up as a little girl, I was like a toothpick and the main one going on the roller coaster or like jumping off the high diving board. And people were like, what? Wow. Like, completely blown away. But one of the most adventurous things happened in Puerto Rico. I was with my boyfriend and we were traveling together. I wanted to go on this like 4 hour, 5 hour hike. And he was like, no, we're not doing that. He kept like shutting that down. Like, there's no way we're doing that, Blue. And somehow he started conversation with just like a random local. And they were like, well, we actually know of a better spot that the tourists don't go to, that the tourists don't know. And if you want us to take you, we'll take you tomorrow morning. And so we went, we didn't know these people at
Girl,
all.
what if the tour was kidnapping?
What if I know, right? What if we don't know? I mean, that's the adventure of it all. And so we had the best time. Like we drove maybe 2 hours outside of the city to this local cliff and like cliff and rain waterfall, jumped off. Like then we went to this other spot that was like shut down. It was like no trespassing. We went anyways, like and slid down the waterfall there. It was beautiful. We had a great time. And in that moment, I was like, oh, this is my friend. I was like, if Joshua is down to ride and do all these like crazy things with me, then like that's someone that I could really like spend time with.
So as someone who isn't as spontaneous or adventurous, what do you think I'm missing out on?
Mm. Well, obviously you can get killed, right? Get kidnapped.
I'm missing out on potentially getting killed. That's a point for me.
That's
I'm
always
trying to see your
something.
side.
There could be possible danger, but there's just an excitement. There's such a thrill. There's such a, even just like, recounting this conversation, this experience with you, the energy of it is still like will drive you even in this moment years later. And I'm all for the excitement. I'm all for feeling and really experiencing everything that life has for me. And so yes, I have fears. Yes, so I have my own questions and doubts around taking on these adventures, but it's like it's always so worth it, right? Obviously, be mindful, like be conscientious of your surroundings and the people, the energy of people, but it's just the adventure is something I'm always willing to go for. I always love a good story, and so I think it's always worth living and going for it.
Okay, I'm gonna think about it.
You're like, I'm not quite there. You said
I'm a
I'm not
little
quite there.
scary, but
I completely get it.
Yeah, I think there's value to, but I think there's value in being spontaneous and adventurous because it's like life is unpredictable, but what if it's unpredictable in a way that you design, right? Like you're like,
Mm.
I'm choosing to like make my unpredictable these like amazing experiences. Even sometimes when I will say this, even sometimes where experiences weren't amazing, they're still like a really great story.
It's always a story, and you never know who you're gonna meet on the other side, what you're gonna see, what you're gonna learn, what you're gonna do. And like I said, I'm always game. I'm
Okay.
always
Have you ever had a bad spontaneous experience?
mm, I can't say that I have. I also, like I said, I am calculated with my
Okay.
spontaneity. Like, yeah, I'm also still thinking about, like I said, what are the surroundings? What could go wrong? What could go right? So yeah, be calculated
You're
with it.
smart, spontaneous.
Exactly. Be calculated with it. And I'm sure I have a bad or a situation that didn't go as well as I had hoped and planned, but that's not even at the forefront of my mind. Like I can't even think of that because there's so many great moments that completely you know,
I get that. No. Okay. Tell me about the event in your life that has impacted you the most.
hmm, the event in my life, I think, truly with I'm starting my first business immediately after college. So it has been the most impactful thing because it was a leap, a small leap, but it has had so many other ripple effects from it, right? In terms of, but just to share the story. So, the last kind of weeks of college while everyone else was doing interviews and going to the career fairs of figuring out what jobs they were going to take after school, I was contemplating a completely different kind of course, a completely different journey. And I had just gone on a study abroad trip to Ghana the summer before. I had met some really amazing girls, fell in love with them, and was really in a place of how can I support? How can I be a part of their stories? And being a broke college student, I knew like my one time donation just wasn't going to do it. And that was when my best friend and I had the idea to start a luxury scarf company, and we sponsor tuition, books, supplies, and uniforms for the girls there to continue their education. And so I knew like this was something I was passionate about. This was something that, I wanted to get out into the world. I didn't know how it was going to happen. I didn't know what it was going to look like, but it was an adventure, it was a leap that I was willing to take, and it has literally changed my life, and everything from that moment would never be the same.
That's good. What do you think people are missing in life?
Mm. It may be in the knowing that everything is possible. Like, we live in so many constraints, so many boxes of what we can and what we can't do, so many limitations, and it's like it really is endless. It really is abundant, and that's one thing I feel so passionate about. It's like let's step into it. Let's really enjoy and experience all that this life has to offer, right? And so um yeah, it's really just tapping into what's possible. So many times we don't ask for the things that we truly want because we're afraid that we won't get it. You know,
Yes. Yeah.
we set our own bounds, we set our own limits, we shrink ourselves without giving ourselves a chance to expand, to be big, to show up how we truly want to in this life.
Wow. What is something that you think is a misconception about you?
Mm, a misconception. one thing is I don't have it all figured out at all. And, so many times with like social media, with Instagram, it makes it so easy to show the highlights,
Yeah.
and I started the journey with Blue as a place to share like those transparent stories, to share the lessons, the sacrifices, the failures along the journey. But even with that intention, it's hard to show. It's hard to like put that in a caption. It's hard to capture that in a picture. And so, that's the heart in the work that I do. But sometimes I feel like it's still not fully like conveyed. It may not always be felt. And it's like Blue is so much on this journey herself. Like, I'm not in a place of arrival. I'm not in a place of having it all figured out. I'm truly taking the steps, and figuring it out along the way. And I'm just providing a light and resources and information for others on the journey too. But by no means do I have it all figured out. And by no means am I like at my destination, which we never will be.
In what spaces do you feel most seen, heard, and valued?
Mm, I would have to say the spaces I feel most seen, valued, and heard, I would say more so within my relationship, even with my friendships too. I have some close friends that, we've been together for I guess almost 20 something years at this point, where um, you get to be all of yourself. So within my relationship, I get to be all of myself, all the flawed, messed up girl. I can be her. I can have space that's held for me to grow, to make those mistakes, to try things out, to get it wrong, and to the patience to get it right. So I would say that's, I guess, my safe space.
How long you been in your relationship?
um, for 6.5 years, it's a long time.
So that is a long time. So with that said, what is the best relationship advice you could give someone?
Mm. One thing for sure, I am not a relationship guru,
That's
lady.
fine.
Know that, okay?
Whatever you got. We're not expecting you to be an expert, just from your own like experience. Like, what has been the most helpful thing to take in as you're going on this journey with him?
You have to do your personal journey. You have to do the work on you. And it's so important, whether it's the therapy, whether it's journaling, whether it's, you have to take time to know what are your triggers, right? So that you won't get tripped up. You have to, a relationship will show you like nothing else, right? It is a mirror and you will see all your ish, right? And um for me, I looked in the mirror and there was a lot of things that I didn't like. I showed up in ways that I didn't want to. There were things from my childhood, of things that I said I would never do, that I did, right? And so doing the work on you so that you can be your best self, so you can show up. We're never whole and complete, but the wholest version of you that you can possibly be is necessary, is necessary, is imperative. There's no other way around it.
What is advice you would give yourself at 13 when that Austrian woman was asking you if you were
I know when my homestay girl was asking me if I was Black, all confused about everything. At 13, I always say, um, really just to go for it. I think I do have this big adventurous like spirit and energy, but in so many ways, like I shrunk over the years. Like I started to to question myself, to doubt myself, to not always like, what I saw in the mirror, or just not as confident of my abilities and what I could do. And to my 13-year-old self, it's like, go for it, because you truly have it, and you can have it all.
That's really good. Okay, where can people find you, Michelle Blue? And do you go by Blue over Michelle?
I go by both. Branding, everything most people see is Blue. And that is my real government name, for the people who are wondering. And I do love my name as well. So
It's a
that's
great name.
thank you. I
It
think
looks
so
really
too.
good. What's your middle name?
Oh, I don't really talk about my middle name.
It don't flow as well as Michelle
Yeah,
Blue.
we don't really talk about the middle name as much. But it's Michelle Courtenay Blue.
That's pretty.
Thank you.
What does that mean? That's
I
pretty.
don't know. My mama made it up.
That's okay.
She heard it somewhere, and she was like, "Oh, I'm going to take it," basically. And so here we are. Um, but people can find me on Instagram at the Michelle Blue, as well as The Journey with Blue. Um, and I have season 4 dropping soon, so I'm really excited for the season launch coming up spring 2023. Coaching courses as well for women who are ready for that adventure, right, of creating the life and business of their dreams, to take the leap with Blue, right? Like, let's take the leap into this journey. Let's take the leap into the limitless possibilities that are available to us. And so people can also follow along, get into coaching programs, and follow the journey.
That's beautiful. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna ask some randoms. I don't even use all of these questions, but some of them I do. So I'm just like, I'll throw them out there. Any recommendations, movie, TV, book-wise, things people should try? Do you have anything that you're like, if you haven't, you should try this or do this or watch this?
Mm-hmm.
Other than obviously joining your program.
Yes, no, I'm reading a book now, which I am in love with. I'm still in the beginning, but I'm like, oh, this is like good stuff. And it's called Personality Isn't Permanent. And oh, when I say it like sets you free, like you truly get to be whomever you want to. Like, it's a choice. There's no box. You don't have to be, the woman that you were yesterday. You truly get to choose. You get to step into the version of you, the highest version that you envision for yourself at any point in time, not based off of your past, not based off of what you've done before, not based off what other people expect you to do. You get to be it at any point in time.
Oh, that's cool. I'd check that out. Last question. If you had the attention of the entire world, what would you say?
Ooh, the attention of the entire world. I'm like stumped on this. What would I tell the entire world?
I don't know. It's a hard question. It's your one chance. Everyone's listening, including that Austrian woman.
Be love.
That's good.
That's all we can do.
Hey, all right. Thank you, Michelle Blue, for
Yes.
being a guest. This is beautiful. This is perfect. And everyone, go and follow her. Go check out her stuff. You obviously see that she's amazing. So go do that ASAP. And also follow the podcast. If you want to be interviewed, you can contact me at info@theibw.com. And have a blessed and beautiful week.